Hello, friends. This is Evangelist A.L. Broadley from Madisonville, Kentucky. I've been in a revival family worship center here in Covington, Georgia. Exciting church, exciting group of people. We're just understanding what church is really all about and what God meant for church to be. There's all kinds of religious bodies and religious meetings and churches in the world today. But I think that we really get an understanding of what God intended for the church to be when we look at Calvary. Jesus was crucified. And if you'd let me read to you from Matthew, the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 27, verse 33, the Bible said, "And when they were coming to a place called Golgotha, that is to say, a place of a skull, they gave him vinegar to drink mingled with gall. And when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink." Verse 35 said, "And they crucified him and parted his garments, casting lots, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophets." And then if you go to verse 36, it says, "And sitting down, they watched him there." Skipping down to verse 39, "And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads." Skip down a few more verses to verse 47. "Some of them that stood there, when they heard that, said that this man calleth for Elias." Finally down to verse 54. "When the centurion and they that were with him, watching Jesus, saw the earthquake, those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, Truly, this was the Son of God." And looking at the audience, the congregation, the assembly that had gathered at Calvary's Hill that day, we can see a reflection of the kinds of audiences that enter into our churches across America every Sunday. You can find yourself in the crowd at Calvary today. A part of that crowd, in verse number 36, the Bible said, "Sitting down, they watched him there." They came to Calvary's Hill that day to watch a man die. Though it may seem gruesome, they were there to be entertained by the whole idea of the bloodshed and the gore. It was entertaining to them. They came and sat down to watch him. Some people come to church for that reason, only for entertainment. They just come to be mesmerized by the beauty of a choir, stained glass windows, the sounds of music. They're just there to be entertained. The second group that we find at Calvary, we also find among us today. And they were those that passed by, in verse 39. Passed by, reviled him, wagging their heads. They were only there for a brief time, just passing by that way and pausing along the way to mock him or to make fun of what it was all about. There are people today who really don't think they have time for church, and just pausing only for a moment, maybe occasionally dropping in for a service, and even at that, only to mock, to make fun of what God is doing and the people of God and the lives that we live and the demonstration of God's power. They don't understand it. Therefore, they have the tendency to mock the things they do not understand. The third group, verse 47, said, "Some of them that stood there, when they heard his utterance from the cross, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani," they didn't understand what he was saying. And the reason was because the Bible indicated that they were standing too far away from Calvary. They were there on the hill, but they were too far away from the cross to comprehend the message that was being uttered from the cross that day. Many people are like that in our churches today. They're there in the building, but they're really too far away from God to comprehend what the Spirit of God is trying to do. The message is being spoken, but they're not receiving the message. There are people like that today in churches all over America. But I urge every one of you today to come to Family Worship Center. If you live too far away from Family Worship Center in Covington, Georgia, find a church that preaches the truth in your area. Go to that church. You be a part of that fourth group that was at Calvary's Hill that day. That was the group that stood with the centurion servant when it was all finished. They said, "Truly, This was the Son of God. You think about these words and think about where you find yourself today. Are you one of those that come to church and just sit to be entertained? Are you one of those that just come by only for a moment to mock what others are doing for God? Are you one of those who are there but only in the distant shadows? Or will you be a part of that group that becomes so close to the cross and so involved in what's going on that you get the message and you can make that proclamation, truly this was the Son of God? I invite you to come out to Revival, come out to Family Worship Center, be in services with Pastor C.V. Harvey, Patrick Harvey, and all of the ministry staff here at this great church. Thank you, God bless you, and have a great day.